Good for you. I'm not even wearing pants.
Nice. We forgot to do a pants check-in at the beginning of the last one.
Don't worry, I wasn't wearing pants then either.
I'm wearing pants.
I am wearing pants.
All the pants.
I'm wearing
You
two
ever
pants.
tried to put on like more than one pair of pants at a time? It's awful. It's so uncomfortable.
I've done it. I've had to do it because
Although-
of scouts.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to keep the Scoutmaster from getting to you.
Oh my god. All right, anyway. Hey, do you want to do the intro or
I can do the intro again.
You're so excited about it. That's cute.
Yeah, sure. All
You need 3 seconds of silence?
No,
No, I
I'm
never
trying to-
get that. I just make it up as I go.
I'm just trying to get comfortable.
Oh.
Or I'll do it.
It's Struggle City, day 754 of quarantine.
That's not the day.
It's Casey, Dave, and Miss.
And
How's
Dave.
I last?
You're last because you gave me fucking sass.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And today, we're going to talk about how the sausage gets made.
Oh.
Talking about
Okay,
how...
wait though. Before we actually do that, like, are we gonna talk about that? Because that might turn me off from meat for a while.
It's an expression.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Talking about how the sausage gets made,
It's a
how the
cliche.
bread gets buttered. Talking about
Okay.
behind the scenes stuff. Sort of.
How to make
kind-
that squeal.
Let's squeal. I didn't squeal.
Oh my god. So quick side street. I was gonna send this
Sorry,
in
Wait,
yeah.
hold on. Time out, Casey. How is it a side street? We haven't even fucking started talking yet.
the side street. I was gonna send it in the group chat, but I know Miss hates pigs, so I didn't.
Thank you.
I found no, I didn't find it. My friend Mike found it. It's a channel called Pretty in Pig,
Hmm.
and it has one video, and it's a makeup tutorial that somebody's doing on a pig's head.
Lovely.
Where's the rest of it?
It's just a pig's head. You can get it from like a butcher or something.
Yeah.
Huh.
Usually it's to
I might-
start
I-
it.
I'll just send it to you, Dave.
Oh,
Okay.
God, that would give me like a heart attack. Like,
Anyway,
it'd be one thing if like the pig was alive and thriving. It's a whole other thing if it's just the decapitated head.
that's just the head.
I was
It's like,
really hoping.
what else are you gonna do with the head except make head cheese?
I was
You're
really
gonna throw it
hoping that it was like a pig in a dress with makeup on.
out.
Like it was just an entire channel dedicated to that. I would have loved
Yeah.
that.
It's kind of serial killer-ish, but I'll send you the video.
Okay.
Anyway, so one of the ways I've been keeping sane during quarantine is YouTube,
Hmm.
and specifically looking up. So this is kind of what I wanted to do with behind-the-scenes stuff, but like, so there's a series of games I enjoy but I'm terrible at, called Dark Souls.
Okay.
Incredible lore put into those games, and there's a couple channels dedicated to collecting and like cataloging the lore. But there's one channel that does it, I think, the best, and I've been watching a lot of his videos lately. But that just got me thinking, like, oh, so what other kinds of fun lore-based or like behind-the-scenes things have we ever kind of explored? Anybody?
Okay. I guess mine's the more obvious one, but I've been fascinated with the animation process at Disney.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Is
I mean
there
that's
anything that like? Oh, go ahead.
and that's a little bit less of a lore-esque thing.
But it's
But,
still a behind-the-scenes thing.
Yeah. Like I've gone so far as writing papers on some of the animators there at school. So
Oh, that's pretty cool.
yeah.
Well, is there any like one particular film that like drew you to it, or is it just kind of like an overall thing?
I guess for a lot of animation people, Snow White is always a point of interest because it's the first big one. It's also, I believe they used whatchamacallit, the multiplane camera for that, or was
Okay.
that later? I don't remember. I think it might
You
have
wrote
been
a
later.
paper on it.
I know, but I don't remember dates. This was freshman year. This is like forever ago.
You
Yeah.
expect the
Okay.
Dean to remember stuff?
No, I should know better.
I remember their names, like UBE Works and so on.
Right.
But just the drama behind it between them and, well, the drama that surrounds the Disney company in general, between
Yeah.
Walt Disney and UBE Works, and then later on between Katzenberg and the other guy, Michael Eisenberg, or whatever his name is.
Eisner.
Eisner. Yeah, that's it.
You were
Who,
close.
who was the one that was all molestery? Was that Lasseter?
Lasseter's a little weird. He's the head of Disney Animation and Pixar right now. So
One of them got Me Too. I don't remember which one.
Well,
I mean,
seriously.
Yeah.
could have been anybody.
I think it was Lasseter because I remember a lot of press about him stepping down.
Nah, he's still in those positions.
Maybe not.
Yeah, I know.
That's it.
The CEO of Disney just
Bless you.
recently stepped down.
Yeah, now it's Bob Iger.
Well, no, Bob Iger is the one who stepped down. It's another
Oh, he's the one
Bob.
that stepped down. Okay.
Yeah, it's another Bob in charge now.
Just all the Bobs.
Yeah.
The bits and
So
Bob.
it's more about like putting everything together, or like the transition from like drawing everything out to putting it onto like a computer animation, or like what are the specifics of it?
Like with the specific things that I find interesting behind
Yeah.
Disney.
Yeah.
I guess it has nothing to. Animation was kind of like the gateway into it, but it turned into like looking up all the drama and the lore behind it.
Okay, so it's more just like the whole like idea of
Yeah.
what Disney is.
Yeah, like
Okay.
this giant company and the drama and the bullshit that happens behind the scenes, but they still produce these amazing animations that are in like, we'll say 100 years ago, basically breaking ground on an entire new genre of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And then even in the 90s, breaking into another entire new genre of animation.
Well, have you heard those like interviews or read those articles where like Disney princesses will come out and say like all of the stuff that they had to do in order to be a princess, like at Magic Kingdom?
Oh yeah, it's a whole bunch of horseshit.
That was really fascinating to me. But like it makes sense. Like
Like a casting couch?
Kind of. Not exactly, but kind of.
well, it makes sense to a point where like if you are, let's just say like a Chinese woman and you want to audition to be Ariel, you're probably not going to get it because you're not like you don't
Yep.
look the
Right.
part. You know what I mean? And
No,
that's
that makes sense.
okay. And like some people will be like, "Oh, that's not okay. Like if she wants to be this character, let her." But that doesn't work with Disney because it's meant for children and kids at heart to go in and have all of these people come to life. And if they don't look the way that they looked in the movie, that sets a whole tone.
I
And
mean,
that bothers me when people get mad about that.
I can get why people would want things to stay the same,
Hmm.
but like, who gives a shit? Just let the Chinese girl play Ariel.
But that's not going to work at Disney World because the kids aren't going to.
But none of it's real.
But that's what I'm saying, though, Case. Like that is like their whole purpose is to make it real.
But it's not real.
Oh my
Just
God, you're not real.
Let the Chinese girl play Ariel. Let the black girl be Belle. Who gives a shit?
It doesn't.
I
I don't know.
All right. I agree with both of you.
Again, always.
Because like I totally agree with Casey saying like who gives a fucking shit, because that'll be good to see representation in the parts with parts.
But it's not even that. It's just like I get why people want to keep up the image, why people want to keep up that idea of appearances, but it's just like it's a theme park. Who gives a shit? These are people that collect paychecks. Who cares?
The people who make the money, though, and kids aren't going to be, at least I don't think they're going to be as entranced by the whole thing.
That's fine.
and
The
then
kids
that
aren't
makes
paying
the money
for
go
it.
down.
The kids aren't paying for it. The parents are paying for it.
Right, but then if the kids don't want to go,
The kids are going to want to go because they're dumb kids.
I don't
All
know.
right.
I just
Anyway,
yeah.
Missy, what kind of behind the scenes crap do you like to talk about and look up and such?
So the biggest thing that I came up with, because I was kind of struggling with this topic.
Hey, run the
Yeah,
credits.
no pun intended. Um, but yeah, I think the most fascinating thing that I thought of for behind the scenes stuff would be people and how babies are made. I think seriously, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Oh my God.
What
Oh,
happened?
porn.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But like the actual like scientific makeup of all of that. Like you know how like you can see like videos of like how, the sperm reaches the egg and then it like evolves from that. Like that just fascinates me. Like I want to know like the microbiology of that.
No, you don't. That shit's fucking tedious.
But like I do. Like that's what
I
fascinates me.
I did that shit. It's tedious, and it kills any illusion that it's a miracle.
I don't think it's a miracle. I don't. I absolutely do not.
Well, it was in heavy quotations, but
But yeah, I think that, how the DNA comes together to make a totally new thing is really fascinating. And it's such a natural thing that we do, like as humans. Something about that just, I don't know, like we make something out of nothing, essentially. Um, and then the other thing that I would really like to understand more of like the behind the scenes stuff would be like viruses and diseases. And I've always felt that way. Like Joe and I went to the museum in DC and I could spend forever in the disease section of it because it was so cool. I want to know how it gets into the body. I want to know what it looks like. I want to know how it interacts with the cells. I want to know how it hurts the cells. Like it's just cool. All
I
right, well,
mean,
Dave, what about you?
what do you mean?
What do you mean, what do I mean?
What do you mean?
Oh,
What
wait,
about
you
me?
already went. I'm sorry, I meant
Yeah,
Casey.
I I do want to point out that I find it interesting that we went from video games to Disney to how babies are made, and I just want to point out how that line of thinking is interesting to me.
Well, I mean, if we're being logical behind everything, for me, it always comes back to that type of thing because I'm ridiculous.
how the sausage gets made.
How the
Yeah.
human sausage gets made.
Yep.
No.
So, Case,
Yeah.
beyond
Well,
Dark Souls,
I collect a shit ton of art books for things. So just you see the creative process behind different movies, different games, how that happens, and then uh, have you have you ever seen my hashtag on Twitter, Criterion, and watched all the special features?
I
hmm,
don't have a Twitter.
Oh, no, you don't because you're lame.
Hmm.
But yeah,
what,
I all the special features that come on my Criterions, I watch them all just because I want to see how these movies happen, how these ideas get done.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Is there like one in particular that kind of like blows your mind when you think about it, like how it's made?
There's a lot.
Fair.
Uh, the special features for the original Godzilla are really neat because it's
Hmm.
really traditionally defined as like a sci-fi, but it's really more of a horror movie, just because the way it's shot and how the special effects have come about. It's really more of a horror movie.
Okay.
interesting.
I don't know if I've ever really been like fascinated with how movies are made. I think I'm more fascinated with how you can be a good actor, I guess. And like I would like to see like the acting behind the scenes type of thing, if that makes sense. Like I think that's pretty cool, but that's also because I've always kind of wanted to be an actor.
Almost like how a person would get into character or something like that.
Yeah. Because like I mean with Heath Ledger, he spent how many weeks in that hotel like preparing to be the Joker? Like that's
Too many.
why, yeah, like why would you have to spend that amount of time? And then in that time, what did you do exactly? Like The behind the scenes stuff that I really like is all in your head. It's all the psychology stuff.
I think he intentionally deprived himself of sleep, wrote in a notebook like a Unabomber,
Mm-hmm.
and then I don't remember which one specifically, but he read Joker-centric Batman stories.
That makes sense.
So like Killing Joke, and then I think there's one that's just called Joker.
Okay.
But he did stuff like that, and then he made the mistake of hanging out with an Olsen who gave him the drugs that killed him.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Just the mindset of things is fascinating to me. And like I think we talked about this before, like, and of course going back to my always interesting topic that I always bring up, but like what people are interested in and like people's sexuality and identity, things like that, like the reasons and the behind the scenes of that. I just want to figure them out. Like I want to get in there and figure it out.
Cut their brain apart and
Yeah. Seriously, like I'd love to do that.
Poke at it a little bit with a stick.
chew on the gristle of their brain.
Ew.
Eat
Bristly brain.
Yes. Eat their brain to gain their knowledge.
Ew.
How
Wasn't
very
that, like, a
mine.
thing? Ugh, yeah.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm really interested in how like movies are made and all that, and the process that they use, and it's even more interesting when it's like a newer process.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like learning about Lucasfilms basically creating Pixar, and that then they ended up creating other stuff. You know, seeing that chain is always interesting, and it's almost like a wiki hole. You just fall into it.
Yeah, it's easy to fall into things like once you really kind of get sucked into it, and then it's like Casey said, like with YouTube, you can just go over and over and over all of these different videos, and before you know it, like 5 hours have gone by.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
It's really fun when stuff for movies gets leaked onto the internet, and then you see stuff that you weren't meant to see.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
I try not to look at that though, because it's like it kind of ruins the surprise, unless like I didn't care to see whatever movie it was.
Oh, not like a spoiler, but like what was it? I think 2010 or 2011. There was another movie. There was a prequel for The Thing that came out,
Mm-hmm.
and it was entirely CGI. But
Mm-hmm.
then you find out a few weeks later that no, they had practical effects made, and all the test footage for the practical effects had leaked online.
Oh.
So stuff like that is rad.
Okay. Yeah. Now I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I also like
That makes more sense.
leaked like movie posters and shit like that.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
That actually reminds me of something that Tom Holland did, who plays the newest Spider-Man. He was like on a live stream or something, and he like opened like the latest like Spider-Man or Avengers poster or something, and it was like signed from people or whatever. And he was like, huh?
No, go ahead.
Okay. And he like showed the camera what it was, and then he like flipped it over, and on the backside it said confidential, do not show anybody.
Yeah, I'm sure that was totally accidental.
I think it was actually, because he's that much of a moron sometimes.
I'm sure.
I see. For stuff like that, for a blatant joke where it says confidential on the back, I think it's the company playing off the fact that he's fucked up so many times, and they know that it'll get a lot more press if he messes up versus if he does it accidentally.
I don't believe any of that. I think it's all just calculated.
I don't agree with either of you.
Because it's Disney and everything's about money and press to them.
God, you just hate them so much.
I do, because they're trash.
No, I think that one instance might have been calculated, but before that, Tom Holland isn't the brightest bulb in the bunch, and he fucked up all the time. He's just an excited little fanboy, and he's excited that he's a part of something that he's been a fan of for so long, so of course he lets things slip.
It's a shame he's so bad at it, though.
He's really not.
He's a bad Spider-Man.
No, he's way better than the last guy, Andrew Garfield. He sucked.
Those movies are hilarious, though.
I'm just so glad that Gwen actually died. That was exciting for me.
Yes, death. More death.
I wanted her. It wouldn't. Okay, no, it would. That fucking kills me, guys. Like this even happened. Yeah, Side Street. This happened in high school, It was like one of the last days of school, and my teacher was like, let's just watch movies because who the fuck cares? So we watched The Princess Bride. This was the first time I was ever seeing that movie.
Inconceivable.
And I know. And so we were watching it, and then by the end of it, I was like, that's it? They're not going to kill the bad guy? Because they just left the bad guy there, like, tied up. And I was like, that is so stupid and illogical. Like, what fucking morons? Because he's obviously going to get out and then come after you. Like, I made a logical argument for why they were dumb for not killing him. And, like, everybody in the class, including my teacher, was like, you just want to see people die. I was like, no, I don't. I want it to have a legitimate ending. And that's like the same bullshit with all like the horror movies. Like, they don't ever fully kill somebody, and it's like, you have every opportunity right now to kill the bad guy, and yet you're not going to do it. Like, you're fucking stupid. That's
called narrative tension.
Bothers me.
Some things never change, right, Missy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always found The Princess Bride to be almost like a parody of the fantasy Arthurian story, where it's all perfectly wrapped up in the end, and it's like purposely ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's meant to be kind of a spoof.
Well, I mean, just look at the scene with the ROUSs.
It's a great scene.
I love that scene.
The entire movie is a great movie.
ROUSs. My sister and I will still like quote that. Like whenever we would go to the zoo, we would always be like, "Oh, let's go see the ROUSs," and we thought we were so cool because we would say it like that.
That's a fun one that got released on Criterion. So the special features on that are really excellent.
Ooh, all right, I have to get that then.
Yeah,
I want to start collecting Criterion editions because of the special features that they have on them.
Oh, quick side street. I recently relocated all of my Criterions into a single tower.
Ooh.
Really?
So now they're all centralized in one location.
Are they alphabetized?
Hell no.
Well,
My movies
when
are
this is over, guess what I'm doing?
No,
What do
I
you
think that's good though. It gives you a sense of accomplishment and organization.
It brings meaning.
But nothing has meaning.
Criterion has meaning. Anyway, so like, what else behind the scenes? I really find the Muppets, seeing how they create certain scenes. I find that really interesting. Like the
It's
one
so
log
overplayed.
scene.
Especially during the beginnings of the Muppets.
Yeah,
Jim Henson had to make so many props and set pieces to hide the puppeteers.
Yeah, and it was like a completely new journey that he was going on, and creating these feature-length films with puppets, essentially.
Basically,
and,
no actors.
Yeah, and to be able to hide people and then also include people in there and make the scale look believable and feasible on camera.
He was a magician.
He truly was. He's also didn't believe in modern medicine, but whatever.
But
I
the scene where he does Rainbow Connection in the movie and Kermit's in the swamp, the log that Kermit's sitting on, Jim Henson is in the log.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like, that's crazy.
Is it? Is that crazy?
Yeah, it is crazy. Because Jim Henson was a giant man. B, he was in there for hours at a time to get the puppeteering and the motions right. And not only that, but he was singing it.
Yeah, and then on top of him being in there, there was also a screen in there and a whole bunch of other electrical equipment. This way he can see himself and how Kermit looks on screens. This way he knows that he's moving correctly.
Yep.
So call me crazy, but
Crazy.
Shut up. I don't care about the Muppets. I respect Jim Henson. Like, he did a great thing and he made like a fucking empire off of this idea, but I don't care. Like, they're not a big deal to me. Like, they were never something amazing.
It was after your time. And you grew up in a Barney world, and Barney was like completely devoid of creativity and fun.
God, you just shit on everything in my life.
I mean,
you really do.
I also grew up with Barney, and he was my favorite TV show. I haven't watched it recently, but that movie slaps. Like, let's be real here.
Well, Case, okay, let me ask you this.
What movie?
The Barney movie,
The one
the
I
one where he
starred
has an
in.
egg. No, not that one.
Like
He
an
has an
actual.
egg. Yeah, it was in
I don't
theaters and
remember that.
everything.
I don't remember that.
Look it up.
I don't
It's
remember
like
that
a
either.
rainbow egg and it hatches and shit. It's a bird. It's cool. It's
Okay.
actually very well shot considering
It's
it's a
way
Barney
cool.
movie.
Well, let me ask you this then, Casey. What do you think of like Sesame Street compared to the Muppets and Jim Henson, or do you kind of put them in the same thing?
They're in the same park, but they're in different habitats. They're they're very different creatures because the Muppets were meant more for adults. Sesame Street was meant to be kids.
Mm-hmm. But the Muppets were still for kids.
No, the Muppets started out as like a late night
Yeah.
comedy routine.
Yeah.
Oh God, now I hate them more.
It was almost like SNL-esque, where they had a celebrity host, and then they did skits, which were insane. The fact that even any children watch that at any point.
Yeah. It wasn't raunchy, but it was the Muppets weren't kid stuff.
No,
Yeah.
like it wouldn't fly today. Like,
They're just kid stuff now because people slap puppets on things, and it's easy appeal.
Well, not only that, Henson sold or was in the process of selling the Muppets to Disney before he passed away. And I think the deal finally went through like 15 or 20 years later. And that's why the Muppets kind of made a semi-resurgence recently, but they've been watered down to the point of they're almost unrecognizable except for their puppet shells.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's pretty much it.
And the entire, we could do an entire episode on the Muppets, honestly.
I don't want to be a part of that episode. I don't like the Muppets at all. I don't understand what the hype is about them. They are not like the greatest thing that has ever been around. I don't get the hype. They're not though. They're not funny. They're not cute. They're not smart. They're just like the puppetry behind it is fascinating, but it's dumb to me. Like I'm not gonna sit there and fucking watch the Muppets. Like fuck off, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not doing it.
That's fine. I mean, the appeal behind it for me is all the hard work and love and TLC that goes in behind the scenes for a Muppet movie to like come to life.
But that could be for any movie though. It's not specifically for that.
But there's a level of it that you see in Muppets that you don't see in other things.
No, it's the same way I feel about stop motion, like Lakaya Studios.
I was going to ask about that.
Insane amount of detail.
Yeah.
So, Case, you hate Nightmare Before Christmas.
I don't hate it. I just don't care for it. I don't see the hype for it.
Okay.
Like I'm not a Tim Burton fanboy.
Ooh.
Fanboy.
Speaking of Nightmare Before Christmas and behind the scenes, on Disney Plus, there's this show called Prop Culture.
It's pretty good.
Oh my God.
It's pretty interesting.
It's amazing.
I don't have Disney Plus.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jenny and I just watched the Who Framed Roger Rabbit episode.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's another movie.
Phenomenal movie.
I've never seen it.
You should check it out.
You'd
Definitely
probably hate it.
You probably will. Not gonna lie. But it's the first time that Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse were all on the screen at the same time.
I hate them. What's the hype with them and like Looney Tunes and shit? Like that's annoying. Why do people like them?
They were another pioneer. They were like some of the first on-screen cartoons.
They're not funny.
Mel Blanc, my God, he's a fucking artist.
Sure. I don't know. I'm very picky.
What? No.
With all of my stuff.
That's crazy.
I know. I was actually listening to our talk on like superheroes and whatnot, and I was like, holy fuck, I am really picky.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still want to do a Captain America versus Iron Man episode between you two. I think that'd be great.
I don't.
Oh my God, that'd be. Let's throw down of the century. We'll call it Struggle City Civil War.
No. No, that's fine.
That's funny. I'm
the audience decide.
Agree with no. What audience?
All four
Come
of
on.
you. You know what? We'll just ask Lynn.
No.
Ugh. She'll probably say no because she won't want to hear me scream and yell. I don't. You know what though? I've gotten better with that. I don't really scream and yell at you anymore when we disagree.
Anymore.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Well. But yeah. So
Anyway.
I think that's really the only things I could think of that truly fascinate me in terms of behind the scenes. And I do really like to see like the behind the scenes, like with movies and stuff, and see how actors work. Because when I was helping out a classmate years ago make like a movie for a project or something, and he was like explaining the scene to me and everything, and it was like really like actiony and traumatic and whatever, and I was like, oh, that's gonna be so cool. And then like I went to act it, and I was like, this feels like nothing I expected it to feel like, because I'm imagining what it would be like when you watch it, you know, and it's just not that at all.
Yeah.
Well, with acting, it's not so much the actor's imagination; it's the director.
Yeah.
Right, but then the actor still has to be the one to bring that to life.
Yeah. The actor acts as a conduit for what
Yeah.
the director is saying, and it's
Mm.
up to the actor to be a good conduit and be able to express what needs to be done. And it takes a lot of studying.
It's less conduit and more just puppet.
Oh, we're back
Mhm.
onto the puppets.
Back onto the puppets because it's just
Of course
stand
we
here,
are.
say that.
Oh God.
And occasionally, the director will have his hand up inside the actor.
Oh my God. I hope not. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, I guess not.
Anything for that role.
But then have you ever watched that show? I think it's called How It's Made, and like they take you behind the scenes and show you how things are made.
Mm-hmm.
Do you enjoy watching that? Because I always think that's super boring.
Oh, I
It's
love
interesting.
that shit.
Okay then.
That's interesting.
I get off on it. It's my favorite show on History
Oh.
Channel.
We found Dave's kink.
Yeah.
Dave,
Oh,
I'm so proud of you.
show me
I'm
how
so
that.
happy.
Show me how handlebars are made.
I just like it. It just seems like a slow process, I think, and that's what
Because
bores
life is a
me.
slow process.
It really is, though. It takes like years to figure shit out.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of not a slow process, watching the behind the scenes footage of the Dark Crystal TV show on Netflix. Oh my god.
Oh, that
And
documentary?
fucking puppets.
Oh god.
Don't care. I don't care at
It
all.
made it even better.
It was.
It made it even better that one of my favorite YouTubers was on there. Oh my god, it was great.
What YouTuber?
Barnaby Dixon. He's a puppeteer.
Ah,
Yeah.
that would
Oh
make
my
sense
god.
then.
Yeah. Love it. Anyway,
I don't get it. I don't understand the fascination.
you don't have to. It's you do you.
On that note,
Yeah,
we'll leave you with Mrs. Curiosity.
it's a good place to be. A lot to do in here.
Do a like, do a subscribe.
Or
Don't
don't.
forget to wash your hands. Wear a mask when you go outside.
Please.
Like the doorknobs.
Don't do that.
Lick
I'm
all
still
the
out
doorknobs.
there, guys.
Lick all the doorknobs.
At the
Yeah.
time of recording, I'm still essential. Don't lick doorknobs.
It's fun. They taste like chocolate.
No, they don't.